Welcome back, everybody. You're still tuned in to the Lowdown. Now, I'm excited to be talking to my next guest because he's not only a producer, but he's a composer as well. I want y'all to put your hands together. Help me welcome Maurice Carroll.
Thank you.
What's up? How are we doing today?
Oh, man, I'm great. Loving every minute of it.
Now, I'm so happy to have you here, man, because I love your music, the stuff that I've gotten to hear. It takes me back, and I've told you this off camera. It takes me back to a time when I was growing up in high school, and I was going to all those house parties and whatnot. And the music that you were playing is very reminiscent of all the house music I listened to and all the bad dancing I did. So, Maurice, thank you.
You're quite welcome. I enjoy making that type of music, man. It's fun, it's energetic, it's free. I love it, man.
Yeah, I love listening to it, so I appreciate you. But I wanted to talk about the beginnings of your career or your love of music. Now, I thought you were a band kid, but you said, nah, when you were going to high school and whatnot, you wasn't one of the band kids, but you did go to college on a scholarship for music, correct?
That's correct. I went to Morgan State University for a number of years. I was on a music scholarship. I got to the point where I realized that wasn't really where I wanted to be. I knew that I wanted to be on the music production side. And, I just decided to go and pursue that. So that's what ended up happening. I switched majors and went on from there.
And the sky's been the limit ever since, man.
Absolutely.
Now, you told me that someone told you something that made you understand that you were a producer, because you were a musician as well. But someone actually told you what exactly?
Yeah, so a long time ago, I was one of the people I was making the music, playing the music, telling people what to do. Hey, sing this way, play this that way, record this way, turn this up, turn this down. And I was doing a lot of that. And somebody said, oh, so you're a producer? And I said, no, I'm not a producer. And then they said, well, this is what a producer is. And then they defined it with everything that I was already doing. And I said, oh, well, I'm a producer then.
I love that. Oh, that's what I be doing. Okay, man.
Right.
Oh, now, I'm going to give you your flowers while you're here, man. You've worked with some amazing artists out there, Grammy-nominated, Grammy award-winning, Stellar award-winning, and you're also part of the Academy. So when people say I'd like to thank the Academy, they are thanking you, sir, so allow me to do the same thing.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, I want to ask, if you're producing, you're working with an artist, what's the process behind that? Because unlike being a musician yourself, you already have an idea what you want to do for yourself when you walk in that booth. But when it comes to working with artists, what's your process like?
My process is to find out exactly what the artist is attempting to convey. What is the feeling that they want to emote? What do they want the listener to walk away with said song? And so when they describe that to me, I know as a producer that I know that there are certain instruments that I need to use. There's certain tempos. There's a key that I might need to move the song into. There's certain ways that on the engineering side that I might forecast how it should be mixed. And, so I approach it from that perspective. And, each artist, they bring to the table what they want. And it keeps me moving and motivated to accomplish what it is that they are looking for. And that's really what the job of a producer is.
Gotcha. Now, you just broke that down for me. Now I understand a little bit better. Now, is it hard to work with people when you're dealing with their vision, what they have in mind for themselves as an artist, and you try to give them a little pushback or feedback?
The only time it becomes a challenge when you're working with an artist and they have their own vision is when you know that you know more than what they do, and you can see further down the path than what they can. And if they have a different perspective as to how they're supposed to end up at the end of that path, that's where the challenge can be. However, I found a way where when I'm communicating to kind of offer it as a suggestion and not a mandate. So I might see it and say, hey, maybe we should go this way instead of, what you had planned, because it may come across this way. We can at least try it. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to your idea. And a lot of times the artists are kind of open to at least testing the waters with what the idea is.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that all sounds amazing, by the way. But I just found out I'm a producer, because I found in marriage, when I suggest something and I don't demand it, I got a better chance of her going, you know what, you might be right. Gonna add that to my repertoire. All right. Now, really quickly, I wanted you to explain to people there is a difference between being a producer and a composer. You just explained what a producer is. What is a composer?
So a composer is really the person or persons that create the actual music. So the instrumental parts of the music, the arrangement can be a composer, or you could have a separate arranger. But the composer is the person that actually makes the music. The difference is with a producer, I can work with a composer, I can work with the arranger, I can work with the instrumentalist and the vocalist and the studio engineer to make everything come together to be what it's supposed to be. So sometimes I can create music where I'm literally just creating music and passing it on to whoever else is producing it, or sending it off to the artist and letting them do what they want to do with it. So those are the two main differences.
There you go. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't realize there's two different things. So some producers might not even make music. They're just the person there arranging everything. They're kind of like the conductor. There you go.
Right. So there are some popular producers that haven't touched an instrument, don't know how to play an instrument, but they have an ear for what might be popular and say, hey, this is what it should be. And then so now they get the producer credit.
And I totally understand that, because I want to say back in my days of high school, Bad Boy Records, P. Diddy has a great ear. Not a musician, but he's a great producer.
That's exactly who I had in mind when I said that.
Can't stop, won't stop. But speaking of this show, though, we do have to take a brief little stop, but we'll be right back right here on The Lowdown with Maurice Carroll in the building. Yes! Welcome back, everybody. We are still having a great conversation with composer and producer Maurice Carroll in the building right now. Yes. Now, you told us all the wonderful things that got you started in the music business, your journey, realizing that you're a producer and composer, but you also kind of found another lane in music that I wanted you to talk about a little bit. And you do musical, I don't even know what to call it, a sound therapy, if that's the right thing to say.
Yeah, sound healing. Yep.
Sound healing. There you go, man. Tell me a little bit how you walked into this kind of part of music and incorporating it into your career.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. I started off as a church musician. And in that setting, I wanted to understand a little bit more about why was it that certain chord structures and certain keys and, why was I able to manipulate the emotions of people? That took me down the road to understanding how a piano is played, how organ notes are played, what are the frequencies, what are the vibrations, what do they do? And I went down the rabbit hole of that, and which was quite interesting, learning what the frequencies are, what the vibrations are. And then I said, okay, well then, why does it affect the human body a certain way? Why does it affect emotions a certain way? And going through that thought process and those questions, it took me to understand that our bodies have frequencies. It took me into understanding the energy centers that we have and how our minds receive music, how it takes the music and turns it into signals throughout our body and changes the vibration and the signals and things like that. And I said, you know what? We need help. So I want to do something that will help music creators more specifically, but everybody in general, to be able to hear and heal through sounds. And so that's where it started.
And that makes a whole lot of sense, because now that you're talking about it, I'm thinking about the things I do in my life and where music plays a part in setting that mood. Like we grew up, man. We grew up listening to R&B and whatnot, music, and you grew up with black parents like I did, and there was music they would put on Saturday morning that lets you know it's time to clean the house. Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about? I think all our houses would be dirty without certain music that we listen to, man, that clean it. Like when athletes get up to jog, they put on certain music that puts them in a meditative state where they don't even think about running. They're just actually, now I haven't found music to make me do that, but yeah, there's music out there for those people. So music definitely has a lot to do with mood.
It does. And a lot of people don't know that it specifically has to go, it goes into the actual frequencies where the music is made in. So there are like frequencies where most Western music has been tuned to 440 hertz. The original universal frequency is 432 hertz. And so there's music that it feels different. So if you listen to native instruments, if you listen to a First Nations flute or an African flute, it feels different than the metal Western style flute. And so the reason is because of the frequencies that it was built on and built under that resonate with our bodies and under the universal frequency. So, just understanding all of that is mind-blowing, to understand that, you can affect somebody's mood and their mode and their emotions, but not only that, physically understanding that you can affect their molecular structure and their cellular structure based on the frequencies that you use.
Now, when you started actually doing this, were people really receptive to it when they would come in and kind of get, do the meditative kind of, they just, they wouldn't say anything. They would lay down. They would turn the lights down low. They would kind of listen to the music and relieve all that stress. How did people receive that when they first did it?
Well, see, I started out a little bit differently. I didn't want to just take a moment and learn something. Like, how you can get information real quickly and then just jump into it like you've known it. I actually studied this for several years before I got into it, and I did some testing, to make sure that what I'm using and how I'm using it was actually being effective versus it just being subliminal. And so doing that, when I started using it in people's songs, I would embed frequencies inside of some of my clients' songs and wait for them to come back to tell me the responses that their audiences gave about those songs. And a lot of times they would come back and say, what did you do with that song? And then I could tell them, I put these frequencies in there so that people would gravitate to that. Well, can you do that for all of my songs? Yes, I can. Actually, yes, I can. And so that's how people started being introduced to how I was using frequencies in songs. I know there's some other artists that are a lot more popular than myself that do that. For example, like Erykah Badu uses frequencies in her songs all the time.
Makes sense.
So, so things like that. I just went down that road and said, okay, well, let's try to do this in a way where it can be embedded in the music also, but let's do some, meditative style music.
Which I've seen. That's what I was referring to, man. I've seen it where people got the lights down low. It's a whole group of people just relaxing, taking it all in, and you put them in a state where they felt all that stress just melt away, man.
Right. Yeah, and that's certainly important for music creators, man. It's the business that we're in is super stressful, so that's why I'm aiming for, music creators to understand, take care of yourself, understanding mindfulness and learning some of the different things that you can do to, make sure that you're even, make sure that you're balanced, make sure that the work that you want to put out is being the best that you can put it out because you're balanced.
I love it, man. Really quick before we have to go, we got a couple seconds left. Where can people follow you on social media so they can definitely understand what I've found out and what I've learned by looking you up?
Yeah, it's really simple to find me. On social media, you can find me at Maurice L. Carroll. That's on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. My website is mauricecarroll.net. And for the sound healing, you can find me at Alchemist Sound Healing, ALKEMMUST. soundhealing.com.
Appreciate you today, Maurice. Hey, don't be a stranger. When you come to Orlando, you look me up. We'll go have a meal together. We'll have some nice calming music playing in the background.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, man, thank you. On behalf of myself, James John, my wonderful guest, Maurice Carroll, and as always, Tight Mike Randolph. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, man. Thank you. Yes! Oh, what? Oh, me?
Yes. All for you. All for you.
Thank y'all so much. Yeah. Mike, they love us.
They are prepaid.
All right, nice.
There you go. Yeah.
I will pay you back.
Sure.
Never. But
all
thank
right.
you.